Okay, so what we're going to do today is a little light up, and the light up is going to be with this really cool backpack stove that I got. So as I had mentioned previously, I've been up in Cheyenne for a couple of months and staying at a hotel up there that had what they called a kitchen, which was pretty much a joke, honestly. The burners, I did the math on them, maybe about 3,000 BTU, something like that. So almost like not having a burner at all. So I happened to go to Laramie, and out in Laramie, there's this place called New to You Sports, and I found one of these burners, and I was like, this is fantastic. This is just what I need. This is an 8,000 BTU backpack stove. I was like, perfect. So this is the Internationale version, which this has a large diameter generator. The regular one has a smaller diameter generator, and it also has a wick down here, a fiberglass wick down at the bottom. What that means is that you can run white gas in this, you can run kerosene in this, you can probably run almost anything that burns. I don't know if diesel would do all that well in here, maybe if you mixed it with gasoline, but certainly gasoline. I have a conventional MSR here also, so you can kind of see the difference in the, I got this one at the same store, you know, can't have too many of them, right? So anyway, got this one here, and you can see the difference in the generator. The diameter is much smaller, so this one can stand far more fouling than this one here. So that's the difference. You run white gas only on this one, pretty much anything in that one. So I originally bought this one, and then later on saw the other, and I was like, well, hot dang, I think I need that one, and I'll probably be selling this on somewhere else. But at any rate, it's still a good little stove, and it served me very well over the 2 months that I was there. So these are super simple. You've got a generator, which incidentally doesn't need to be replaced. You can see this little piece of wire that's sticking out. That's a piece of flexible steel cable that goes all the way up through here into the generator. And whenever anything starts to slow down, you can disassemble this, run the cable back and forth a few times. It knocks out all the carbon. Everything kicks up and works like it was like new. And it also has the jet in here that has a weighted needle. So to clean it, you merely shake it, and it pokes that needle up and down by you shaking it, and off you go. So pretty cool stuff. The next thing you need is a fuel bottle. These come in multiple sizes. You can get water bottles that will fit. They're the same kind of thread, but the thing is that this is a one-piece forged water bottle. So a water bottle will have an insert. This has been basically formed from one piece of aluminum. There is no insert. It's just the lip has been turned over to make it smooth, but you can see there's no gap in there. So this is safe. The other ones are not. So this is what you want, not the other ones, even though they might fit. You can do it in a pinch, I suppose, but I would suggest that you use the ones that are actual real fuel bottles. So there's that. And also within the kit here is a pump. I haven't used this one yet, and it's really creaky. So I guess we'll see how well that works. Or really creaky. This is an older one, but at any rate, we'll use the one that goes with it. And then they also include some windshield stuff that you can unfold and set out around here. We're not going to do that, but you can put this around the base of it like that, and then you shield around this, and then you won't have to worry about it blowing out in the wind. So that's great. It also included a small little tool kit with a needle pricker. So maybe this one doesn't have the shaker, but the new ones do. And then it has a new filter, a new nozzle, and then a tool for removing the nozzle. And there you go. So that is all the parts and pieces. So, oh, and a pretty old manual here too. Anyway, so that's all of that. So let's go ahead and light this thing up, because that's what we all came here to see. So I'm going to just throw some fuel in here real quick. Let's see. Looks kind of clean. So I'll do that. Actually, don't I have a real fuel funnel here somewhere? I probably do, but God knows where it's got to. You know how well I keep my bench here. So we're just going to go ahead and throw some of this in here. This fuel is actually pretty old, so we'll see how well it does. It smells a little bit off. I think I'm just gonna like do the speed fill here, because the hole is large enough to do that, and that'll save our pumping time. So right, got that. Next step is you put the pump in here just like so, and it gets screwed down. Next is you give it about 20 pumps, they say. You know what I haven't done on this? I haven't given this the neat's foot treatment, and it does feel just a little bit dry. So we're gonna go ahead and do that real quick. All these, I mean, they use a leather pump cup too, which is pretty cool. So we'll just kind of throw that in there real quick and tap off the excess. Wish I had a paper towel to wipe off some of the excess with, because I really don't want to put a whole bunch of that back into the pump. Just a little bit, which that should be plenty. And it goes, oh yeah, I can already tell that's gonna pressurize a lot better. Oh yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, so there's that. I may have had a few extra pumps on there. And of course, when you're pumping this and this is facing you, you'll immediately know if you left that open. I'm gonna polish the end of this piece of brass here a little bit. It's a little bit corroded, but not bad. But this is where it seals, so just a little twisting with some steel wool here should just polish that right out. So I think it probably got wet one time, and then it'll make it easier on the O-ring that's inside. They say before you put this together to moisten it, well, I use a little bit of the natural moisturizer that everyone's got. And then you just stick that into here, and then this goes around and locks into place like so. From here, once it's in there, although it doesn't lock in there real good, maybe this needs to have a bit more of a bend put in it, because it is not really. Oh, and then hey, look, there's the O-ring. How nice. We're going to go ahead and put more bend back into that and get that in there, so that way, there we go. That's the kind of snap we want here. So that's good. So the thing that they say is inspect it for leaks. Always a good idea when dealing with fuel under pressure. And the way I found this the most successful to light these things is you light them and you listen for the second that you hear anything here. Turn it off immediately, because that'll give you plenty of fuel. Okay, that did that pretty quick. Might want a little more. Yeah, no, that's good. So now I can see there's a little bit of fuel. It's a little wet. That'll light super easy because, of course, it's wet gas. I'm not seeing any leaks there, so that's also great. So this process here only takes a few minutes. But you're preheating like you would any other sort of fuel-driven stove that does not have a preheat circuit, which this doesn't. It doesn't have a fuel-air circuit, I'm sorry. So, so that's what we're gonna do here. So it will initially burn off whatever is falling out, and then it'll start pushing fuel out of the generator, and that'll start coming out of the stove a little bit more, and then probably good. No, we're not good, but that's all right, because the cup catches it, and you just go ahead and continue to preheat from there. But yeah, they're pretty foolproof. You'll know when it's right, huh? You know, it's kind of funny. I had zero problems lighting this thing in the hotel room, and I come here, and I've done it like many times, and I come here and I do this, and it's giving me all sorts of hassle. But anyway, there she goes. I probably have it maybe pumped up a little bit too much, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's quiet. It gives you a nice flame. It's pretty adjustable, although the adjustment does lag a fair bit because you got all this fuel line and fuel in that generator. So you have to wait a little bit for it to actually take place where it actually hits. So, but I was able to cook very well on this. I did mushrooms and stuff like that, because anything that required me to try to boil any kind of water was just like a no-go in that stove, because it was just had no power. With this, it made it really easy. So so there we go. Burning off all the stuff on the bottom that I created, so that's great. So let's give her a good rip here and see how she goes. Yeah, that's pretty much, I would say, about full bore. I mean, obviously everything is turning red on it. All the carbon is peeling off. The burner cup is turning red, and that is just solid heat. Ooh, and I have a lot of. Well, things aren't going too well for our hero here, and let me show you what happened. I've got two pumps here. They look pretty much identical. And when I bought the stove, they said, you know, all of our stuff is tested before it goes out the door, and that's well and good. And you know, I trusted that, and it's easy to do so. But you know, you sometimes really got to look yourself, and especially when you're unfamiliar with things. So these look pretty much identical. Some sharp viewers may be able to spot some differences, and that would be right here. So this has got a black piece, this does not. You also notice the hole, it's quite a bit smaller on this one versus this one. That's because this piece has an O-ring behind it, and this piece rotates in, locks, and pushes that O-ring in there, so when you stick the stove feed line into it, it actually seals. This one does not have that. This is the one that I was using. That's why this one leaked. So I didn't have any negative consequences. We'll let it roll here in just a second to, you know, show you to the end of this here. But with these MSR stoves, they're great stoves, and I trusted that they said it had been tested, it was fine. And then, you know, I went ahead and looked, and, you know, maybe all they did was like going, oh yeah, okay, it pumps, and that's it. That's why anyway, so that's the story with that. And yeah, just be careful out there. I mean, you can see earlier on, if you play it back, when it actually starts leaking, and it gets to be a pretty good sized puddle. Well, you can see about how big the puddle was on the desk here. It was pretty good size, but it did go out relatively quickly, and no harm, no foul. But yeah, a little bit more excitement than we usually like to have here on the channel. But just a word of the wise there. Yeah, be sure that you make sure that this is definitely seated, and you actually have one of these. You don't have one that doesn't have this. So with that, let's get back to the video. Okay, that's that. That's that. This does not want to shut off. So I guess we're learning some things here about the stove. So yeah, even though I thought I had no leak on there, there was a leak. So didn't really kill my desk too much. But I think one of the important things to remember is that when you have problems like this, step number one is don't panic. Don't throw stuff around. This could have turned out a whole lot worse than it was. This was actually my marker for doing light measurements. So now it's shutting off. Yeah, I don't know why it came out like that. So I guess oh gosh, that is still really, really hot. It looks like it still wasn't set right in the in here. Interesting. Well, they say check for leaks, and yeah, I guess I should have checked a little harder. So there you go. Don't let that spook you too much, because you should have. Wow, yeah, everything's really still pretty hot. I'm just trying to get this off of here so I can see what happened, and also to get the pressure off of this thing, because I don't want any pressure on that. So yeah, there you go. So I think I need to take a look a little closer at the O-ring situation in there, because that certainly didn't work very well, and go from there. But yeah, that's more excitement than either one of us really wanted. But thankfully, we didn't go too bad, not go too far with it. So I think what I need to do, and that's a good lesson, is need to get a fire extinguisher a little bit closer. Well, that's all the excitement I can stand for today. Until next time, keep them lit, but not like this.